But I mean, with fashion, everything comes back in style, right? Like
It
it's
does.
always.
But not everything.
Well, we wish not everything. There's things that we would
Our
like,
high school era
really like
should never come back.
but it
What
is.
the fuck?
It is.
I know.
coming
I saw the
back.
thin eyebrows and like on a
my
fashion
God.
magazine. I'm like, stop.
It's a
Stop.
TikTok
You will
filter
regret
now,
this,
and
girl.
everyone's like looking at they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
they
maybe I
don't
should
know
go
what-
back.
No,
horrendous.
like
No.
if we can say one thing,
It's
please,
do not over.
you will regret this. I promise you.
You're gonna
You will
spend money
regret
on
it.
microblading later.
Hey.
All the
Exhibit
things, all
A,
the dye.
as I point to my own face. I
Or
have
I
tattooed
spend,
my
like,
brows to my head.
10 minutes every morning filling them in.
I have to draw mine on
Yeah, I
every day.
couldn't do it anymore. That's why I tattooed them to my head. I was sick of
Get
filling
it.
them in.
Yeah.
And I
No,
never
it's
could, like,
hideous.
I want twins. I don't want sisters. I want twins. So
Yeah.
they have to be the
They're
same.
supposed to be sisters.
I don't want sisters. I want twins. I told
Is
you
that
that.
what you told your microblading?
Yes,
girl?
I did. I sure did tell her that.
Anyways, but that's not the worst thing that we did in high school. I'm not gonna lie.
Welcome to the show, Chavah. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us and joining us on our date as well that we just had
And
downtown.
in the studio.
Yeah, and joining us in the fucking studio.
Yeah, what is this? It's so nice to be in Toronto. So
I know.
yeah.
And this is really cool. We're having a very live experience right now. Normally we are in our
Remote.
houses.
Yeah.
Remote.
Pantsless. And
Pantsless. I mean, anyone who's watching right now might catch a glimpse of my underwear because I'm currently undone in the pants area. But nonetheless, they're on, okay?
We want to be comfortable, right?
I know. We
Yeah.
are comfortable. That's right. Speaking of comfortable, you're a fashion designer.
I am.
Tell everyone about that. I
So-
don't know what that segue was, but please tell
we're going
everyone
to go
about
with it.
So, like she said, I am a fashion designer. I'm based on the East Coast in New Brunswick. And I have been doing my business for about 6 years. I graduated from fashion school 15 years ago. So it took me a little while to get into it. But once I did, I'm super happy with what I do. Yeah.
So what is your area of expertise in fashion? Like what do you specialize in?
Special occasion women's wear. So, for proms and weddings and galas now that we're finally back to doing stuff
real life.
again.
So nice.
Yeah. So just like, celebrating those little things to dress up for, even if you like don't need an occasion, like get dressed up,
Mhm.
feel good.
I love that.
Absolutely. I love that we got to so just to give our listeners some background, we've actually been hanging out for the last couple hours and it's been amazing. And so tonight was the first night we met and we had some drinks and we had some food and we got together and we got to try on some
dress up.
Chavah. We literally played dress up. We got to try on some dresses. I did have my little heart set on fitting into one of Chavah's most beautiful sequin gowns that Sanjita Patel wore. I did not fit into it.
Just one boob, two.
It's a very
So-
teensy dress.
It was a
We
one
tried.
boob too
It
small.
fit you except for your one boob.
We did the shimmy. So we really tried, but
It was literally just hanging one boob out.
It was a valiant effort.
Yeah.
I could
Unsuccessful,
picture it on you.
but no.
Honestly, it would have looked gorgeous. So
Yeah, if it was 3 sizes bigger.
I
it'd
feel
be
like
amazing.
I need to make it for you now. So
I feel like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
I'm
That's
not
so
gonna say no
cute.
to that. But no, we were. So that is actually kind of what started this
the
whole
dress.
thing. Is that dress?
Yeah.
Like me seeing it on Instagram and being like, this is if there was a dress that says represents me, that's the dress. All sequins, all colors,
Yeah.
fitted, sexy, all of the things. And I was like, who made this dress? And then I followed all the links that you do when you go down the rabbit hole of Instagram. And
you
There
found
she
me.
was. Yeah.
Lucky for us, you were
Chavah
a
Lindsay.
Canadian woman.
Yes,
So it was
very
right
lucky
up
for
our
us.
alley, so we can chat with you. I mean,
Yeah.
we'd be happy to chat with you anyways, but even better on the show.
For
so
sure. Yeah. It was
that's
so
awesome.
exciting to see the amount of people that it brought to me. Having that dress in Hello Magazine was super cool anyway. And then it brought me these great opportunities. So because of that, I'm here with
Girl, Oh my
you.
gosh.
And you are here for also in Toronto for Fashion
fat.
Art Toronto for FAT.
Yes.
The weirdest.
Let's go with Fashion Art
acronym.
Toronto.
Yeah,
When we were trying to tag the Instagram photo, it was a picture of our dinner. And it was just
Hashtag
Hashtag
fat.
fat.
That
we're
is us.
pro body.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Okay, let's go with Fashion Art Toronto.
Yeah.
So I'm
Fair.
here for that. So Toronto Runway, super exciting. I have this new collection. It's been a couple of years since the runway show, so I'm super
It must
excited.
just be fucking fucking freaking out.
Oh my God, I'm freaking out. Yeah, I've been working so hard on this for the last couple months. So like to be able to go and like show people what I've been working so hard on, I'm so
Oh my
excited.
God.
Yeah.
And
No,
we're
I'm
so
gonna cry
excited to
again.
see. I know
Fuck.
Jess is very emotional, guys.
It's like my
she
little
just
baby
can't.
though. Like I'm
I
so
know.
yeah.
But it really is like a
Yeah.
baby, right? Like you've built it because you
Right.
start with some fabrics and then you turn it into these incredibly beautiful
But even
pieces,
the
these works of
fabrics,
art.
you know, starting with just okay. Let's just start there. Like how,
Okay.
like I know
Yeah,
you went to
let's
fashion
back
school.
up a minute.
Back
I
it
know.
up.
Get back to even before the fabrics because I don't even know where you'd begin. Like I think we all appreciate, you know, good looking clothing. I understand why we have to wear clothing.
Do you?
Sometimes.
Actually, I'm not the
Do
right person to
you?
say that statement, but I understand why clothing exists. But then there's like obviously the level of like how it shows off your personality. There's so much that goes into
Absolutely.
fashion, right?
Yeah.
So what started you in fashion? Then how do you even know how to do the fashion? Like it seems
How do
so
you
much.
do the
How do I do it?
fashion?
I mean, sometimes I don't like to wear pants either, Jess, so I get it.
You're not wearing pants right now.
I just
so-
exactly. Anyway, so backing up, I always wanted to do fashion. I always loved it. I would like so it feels really like I don't know. Everybody says this, but I would make little Barbie clothes for my dolls. and,
Everyone
like,
doesn't
Nobody
say
says
that.
No,
Yeah, I've
it
never
feels
said
like
that.
it's very okay. So I say it. I would make
That's why you're the designer.
clothes for my Barbies, and yeah, just like once my mom taught me to sew, it was something I'd always did. Like I would sew. I mean, my friends probably thought it was crap, but I would always make them like their gifts for their birthdays. Like I would sew
Aw.
things, and like I just really loved doing it. So I was super young when I started like looking into post-secondary education. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, and I was very like business focused on it from such a young age, which is kind of
That's
like
amazing.
bizarre looking back. I just remember researching universities, and then my mom was like, okay, well, geez, she really wants to do this. So she signed me up for like this summer program here in Toronto, and she like we didn't come from a lot of money, so she like Greyhound bussed me here. I was here for 2 weeks, like doing this fashion program. She's like, I
Wow.
want to make sure you like love this.
How
So
old were you when you did that?
I was 16,
Oh,
so
that's a big thing
it
to
was a
come
big
from like little New
deal.
Brunswick to big city of
Yeah.
Toronto to do a
Wow.
fashion program to determine if you even really like it. Like that's
Exactly.
I feel like I would be pretty nervous to like be
At
amongst
16
that
as
sort
well.
of environment.
Right. Yeah. It was very intimidating, but I was like, somehow, I don't know. I feel like I was more confident then than even now. It was crazy. Just coming from this
Really?
small town,
No,
like,
it's that like that
The
young
adrenaline
ambition.
of it,
Yeah.
right?
No, when you're young, you're fearless. Like
yeah.
you can do anything. I remember being 16. Obviously, I didn't have like great goals like you. My goals were like getting drunk. So, but still, you have that like fearless ambition that like I can
Right.
do anything.
I look back on these outfits I wore to fashion school, and it's like so embarrassing, but I was so like rocking it, like the clear heels and like,
Oh,
just
but
like
you were ahead
hilarious.
of your
Girl,
times,
you almost
girl.
wore
I mean,
clear
yeah,
heels
they're like
today.
in now, right?
Well,
They
like
are.
technically, I did wear the clear heels,
She wore them to pick me up.
and then
I mean,
Does
I
that
took
count?
off the clear heels immediately.
To drive though.
right.
Yeah.
They
Like,
are
what-
super
when were
trendy.
you
So
wearing
not
them?
to bash them, but it's just so funny to look back then, and I was like 16 years old wearing these like reflective clear heels.
But I feel like
Anyway.
that was like an indicator that this is where you were supposed to go. You were already
Yeah.
Clearly
futuristic.
had
You were
vision.
already wearing things that were coming. It was to
Right.
come. But I mean, with fashion, everything comes back in style, right? Like
It
it's
does.
always.
But not everything.
Well, we wish not everything. There's things that we would
Our
like-
high school era
really like
should
to-
never come back.
but it
What
is.
the fuck?
It is
I know.
coming
I saw the
back.
thin eyebrows and like on a
My
fashion
God.
magazine. I'm like, stop.
It's a
Stop.
TikTok
You will
filter
regret
now,
this,
and
girl.
everyone's like looking at they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
they
maybe I
don't
should
know
go
what-
back.
No,
Horrendous.
like
No.
if we can say one thing,
It's
please,
do not over.
you will regret this. I promise you.
You're gonna
you will
spend money
regret
on
it.
microblading later.
Right.
All
Exhibit
the thing, all
A,
the dye.
as I point to my own face. I
Or I
have tattooed my
spend, like,
brows to my head.
10 minutes every morning filling
Every-
them in.
filling- I have to draw mine on
Yeah,
every
I couldn't
day.
do it anymore. That's why I tattooed them to my head. I was sick of
Get
filling
it.
them in.
Yeah.
And I
No,
never
it's
could, like, I
hideous.
want twins. I don't want sisters. I want twins. So
Yeah.
they have to be the
They're
same.
supposed to be sisters.
I don't want sisters. I want twins. I told
Is
you
that
that.
what you told your microblading?
Yes,
girl?
I did. I sure did tell her that.
Anyways, but that's not the worst thing that we did in high school. I'm not gonna lie. But so yeah, I hope not all things come back in fashion. But okay, so how do you know what is in fashion? What's on the trend?
I don't know. Like,
You just make what you feel like, or
I
do you like follow
like
those things?
I feel like no matter what, you're influenced by, social media and all these things.
Celebrities.
Yeah, exactly. You see what they're wearing and you see, oh my gosh, that's cool. I always have Pinterest boards going of like, oh, I think this is cool. Not necessarily like I want to make exactly this, but maybe I like the way this slit was, or there was a
Inspo.
ruffle. Yeah, exactly. So I have those going, but I really just like to make what I like to
I
make.
love that because that's like
Yeah.
makes it timeless too, right? When it's not like so trendy and then can fall off, like
And I think that's
some of the things we've
important.
done.
Like
Yeah.
eyebrows.
Like
But
eyebrows,
ugh.
thin
But it's
eyebrows.
also authentic to you too, right? Like that is truly what your in like what is coming out of you. Your heart is like your heart and soul is being put into these pieces, and like that's a representation of who you are and like what you want to see and what your vision is. And then somebody wears these things and like brings them into the
How does
world.
that feel?
It's
Yeah.
kind of incredible. Yeah. It's really cool because people can recognize my pieces now. So I've had like customers, and also like my sister one time, she was out, she's like, I just saw a wedding and they were all wearing your dresses, and she knew, and she just took a picture and sent it to me. And like that feels so good. Even like during the pandemic, obviously people weren't wearing my gowns, but they were wearing my masks, and people would recognize like that's a Chavah mask, and they would send me pictures of like
Aw.
people wearing them. And that feels so good. Especially when I'm just creating out of like passion and like I want to make something I
You're just
like. And
creating. That's so
yeah.
cool that you're just like you have something in your head and then somebody is wearing it on the most important day of their life, like their wedding
Yeah.
or, being in someone's wedding. So that's like really fantastic.
Yeah.
God, I feel like I'm gonna cry fucking again.
Oh.
No, that's
Your
so
Kleenex dropped,
I
I
know I do.
noticed.
Oh, where is it?
So was your mom
We're
a
good.
seamstress or she just knew how to sew?
She wasn't. So my grandmother was a tailor, and then she taught my mom how to sew. My mom taught me how to sew. My mom hated sewing, but she taught me how. And I think it's so funny because when she was here, she would be with me at my fashion shows, like doing the hand stitching backstage, even though she despised sewing. But
Your mom, of
yeah, she
course.
was there for me
I
for
love
it
how this is
all.
like
So
generational.
yeah, it's kind of neat, isn't it? And then you just
Yeah.
like I turned it into my job.
A
So
business.
yeah.
And a successful business has brought you to rotten. Ew.
That's like a me thing to
I
say.
know.
I always fuck up a word, like
I do that a
one
lot.
word
Yeah.
per episode. I'll make something up or I'll just be like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Anyways,
That is like that's what they say in Bring It On, the like 90s
it's
movie.
already been
It's already been
broughten.
brattin.
Broughten.
Brattin. It's a
Just own
genre.
it.
It's a genre.
We are.
But no, I think that like it's incredible that you like were able to realize, because I think as like when we're younger, we all have an idea of what we want to do and what we want to be. And then so many of us don't do that though. And you really like stayed true to your passion and what you wanted to do, and you brought it all the way. And then hopefully we'll
Keep
continue
going.
on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope. I mean it's great because I love it and I keep pushing. There's definitely struggles, and there's definitely times where it's hard and you have to keep pushing, and owning a business in general is hard. Especially when there's times like COVID where you have to push through, like nobody needs your services and you just have to
Yeah.
keep making and keep going. And
Yeah.
How did
So
you
what?
stay motivated?
I just kept designing. So like a lot of what I'm showing on the runway on tomorrow is things that I was designing during COVID. So that's why I'm so excited about showing this whole collection.
Like a hard time now reflecting into a good time.
Exactly.
What are some of the struggles? Like beyond owning a business, that I understand that part, but like I guess my question is like how do you always have motivation to create? How do you always know like what is next? Like it feels like that is like an unsurmountable task.
Yeah, and I mean, there's certainly days where I'm just like,
Not
I don't want to do
creative.
this. Like and I usually for those days, for the most part, I mean, I definitely have struggles, but there's definitely things I have planned for days like that. Like maybe I'm not doing something creative. Maybe I'm doing some of the monotonous tasks where I'm going through like,
Admin.
yes, the boring, annoying stuff just to keep going because you have
Yeah.
to do that. But there's definitely times where I'm just like, ugh, what am I doing? Like this
This is
feels so
stupid.
hard.
I think that is obviously a relatable feeling for anyone who's
Yeah,
entrepreneurial, anyone doing like anyone working really is like I think
exactly.
that's completely understandable, but obviously when you persevere and get through and then it's times like tomorrow where you're in Toronto Fashion Week. I can't fat like it's Toronto Fashion Week to
Let's
me.
just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry. I
it's
can't
weird
call it
that
by anything
they,
else.
yeah, the acronym is, I don't know, like who
That's
thought of
silly.
that?
But then, so you have moments like tomorrow where it's gonna pay off so big, and it just must be so fucking cool.
Oh my God, it feels so good. Like
I'm
it
so
hasn't even
proud of
happened yet,
you.
but I'm just like so, oh, I'm so excited. And the collection's called Lost in a Daydream because
Oh, I
it's
love.
like the daydream of coming up with this whole design like of the collection during the pandemic and like
Yeah.
daydreaming it away. So
Seems like so fun. Like even when we were just in your hotel room trying on your dresses, I know this is like the end once they're made and you've already done all the hard work.
yeah.
So this is like the fun part. But it feels like it's like a lot of those types of moments throughout where you're like with girls and you're designing and you're like, oh, this looks good. And like, you know what I mean? It feels like
Yes.
it's like fun all
And
the
people getting
time.
excited about your
Oh my
work.
gosh,
Like
yeah.
I was dying because we obviously this was planned for a couple weeks now. We've chatted beforehand and the one request was, can you please bring the sequin dress? And again,
Aw.
very disappointing that I
That
could
Oh.
one
not.
damn boob.
The one, well, it was
You guys don't
it was the
understand. It
two
was just like
boobs, but
zipped
the
up
one
around the one.
popped out because yeah. But I
Usually
mean,
that's my problem. But you brought a dress that we could just wrap mine in, so that was
yeah, just
perfect.
tied
I
them
love
up in
that
there.
Well,
dress.
I do like to design for that too, like to be accommodating for different sizes. And I think it's important, like,
Thank you.
not to go on a tangent here, but I think I have so many girls that come to me and they're like, I've gone to stores and I can't try dresses on, like they don't have my size.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair.
No.
So I have that and I offer that. And I think it's really important for people to feel good. They put on a dress and they're like, fuck yeah, like look at
Yeah.
me.
And it's cool because
realistically, everyone isn't a size
no, but we
0
both tried
or
on the
2.
same dress and we couldn't be more opposite of sizes.
Body styles, everything, yeah.
Everything. And it's funny because we both tried that dress on and
Loved it
Loved
equally.
it,
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
it suited us both, but I do think that's super important, and obviously like the whole body positivity, body movement thing is happening, but it does seem crazy that a lot of designer stores, retailers like just are not that accommodating. There's very few. Like, and it's not just about because I think people get caught up in the whole like skinny fat, right? There's just this two like
Yeah.
categories of you're either skinny or you're
tits are
fat.
not accommodating in that. I
Right.
will say that because I have them. So even when I go to stores and I try on a large or an extra large, I'm still getting the flat boob,
Yeah.
right? So it might, and then it's too big elsewhere or whatever. And so that it's just like they're not accommodating to big boobs.
Or
Sorry,
bums,
that's better than
right?
tits.
Like, I mean, lots of people have like that's the thing. No body is the same. So like I don't know. Like what would you say is needed in like the fashion world to like start accommodating body types more appropriately? Because it's always a number, 0
Right.
through whatever,
Yeah.
or extra small through extra large, like whatever the case is. Like
Right.
it like if you don't fit within any of those categories, then you don't fit.
I think we need to stop shopping fast fashion. Like as hard as it is for
Oh,
This is
people,
not the first time
like
we've heard this on the
yeah,
show.
because like it makes people feel shitty about themselves, first of all, because you think you're like, oh, this is a size large, it should fit me, but it
Yeah,
doesn't. And
I'm
it's
bigger than a large.
right,
What
like
am I?
like you don't want to see that. And then why not invest in pieces that are made for you? You know what I mean? Like
So custom all the way.
right, yeah. And then those are pieces that are going to stick with you. So for instance, the dress you guys tried on and it was one size and it fit both of you. Buy pieces like that that are going to work with your changes in your life because your body doesn't stay the same. Like you're going to change no matter what. We all
Especially as
experienced
women.
that during COVID, I think.
Oh,
well, I mean, that's just one of the times your body changes. Never mind
Right.
pregnancy,
like
aging.
all of these things.
that dress would look really good with a pregnant belly
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh, I've done so many of
Adorable.
them. Yes. And that's what's so exciting is working with people through these like milestones in their life and like still making them feel good because you still should feel good about your body.
Yeah, 100%. I think that is like the main thing that comes out of these things. And you're right. Sometimes I go shopping and I have money to burn and I want to spend money. I want to shop. But then you get in there and you get discouraged because nothing is fitting, nothing is, and it doesn't feel good. I often leave stores unhappy and empty-handed. And it's tough because I joke around that I like to be naked and I genuinely do, but it's a lot easier because I don't like clothes and shopping as well sometimes too. So, I mean, that's not nice when I need to wear clothes.
No, I totally
I know I do
agree.
have to.
Yeah. So I think it's important to have things that fit good and also the experience, I think, of getting something custom made for you is worth the investment. Like sure it's going to cost you a little more money, but like you feel so good because it's made for you and that when else do you get that in your life? Like
But I feel
Yeah.
like that's a stigma that needs to kind of be broken down a little bit. Is like just because it's custom doesn't mean it's like unaffordable.
right.
Because if you consider how many things you buy that you maybe wear once or not at all, or you thought it was going to fit you great and then you get it home and it doesn't, you
Or
can't
those
return it,
pieces like,
whatever.
okay, it will fit when I do this.
Yes, the goal
Yeah, those goal
clothes, right?
pieces.
Yeah. And I feel like that's super unhealthy to do anyway. Like you're just like trying to force your body into something, and as
And you're not gonna do that.
you're
That
not.
one
know.
shirt's not gonna
I
motivate
would
you.
love to know how many people are actually successful in achieving this, like, oh, that's my gold pants, right?
It was
Like,
in
Yeah.
one movie I saw. I can't even remember. It's probably like a Sex in the City
I feel
thing.
like it was that Bride. I can't remember now, but it's like the two Anne Hathaway and
And Kate Hudson?
yeah, and they're trying to fit into the Vera Wang.
No. I'm talking about like when Miranda wore her post-pregnancy jeans. Anyways,
Oh.
she held on to them and she ended up getting into them and she felt great. They were
But
terrible jeans.
again,
but
that's TV, right? Like it's
yes,
not real life,
exactly.
and most women don't like achieve that.
Well,
goal.
that one
It's like-
shirt isn't going to be the motivation to bring you to your goal. It's not going to change your fucking life. It's not.
Yeah, probably
Well, and
not.
I think it's not healthy. Like,
it's not.
have you guys
healthy.
read about the Kim Kardashian
Oh,
losing
yes.
16 pounds to? I think that's terrible.
Okay,
culture,
so
like-
I'm so glad you brought this up because I mostly don't feel like personally about anything that like celebs would say. Like I never like, oh my God, how dare she say that? Like who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
But I
I
was
feel
reading,
like everything Kim Kardashian says, we do feel that way. We're like, oh God.
Lately,
I'm not
she's
like
been
sitting
saying a
there
lot.
thinking like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this personal. It's more along the lines of like, oh wow, she said that, but it's not like when some people respond to things online, they're outraged, like how dare you? But so the reason I bring that up is because I was reading some of the things. Normally, I'm just like, oh, people will fucking talk about anything. Like, of course, there's outrage, whatever. But then I was reading some of the points about that, and it was highlighting why that was so like such a wrong thing to do and what it is really promoting. And I genuinely do agree. Like why people are outraged. I'm not outraged.
Well, Lily
personally, but
Reinhart kind of
yes,
spearheaded
that's
that.
she's
yeah.
the exact thing that I read, and I love
Yeah.
how she put that. I love how she like brought all that in, and really, what are the issues with saying things like that and doing things like that. So I'm not outraged yet, no, but I do fully support why people are.
Well,
I
I mean,
guess.
when you have and we've talked about this so many times on the show, when you have a platform of her size and you have the influence that she has, and you're saying things to these very impressionable audiences, typically younger girls, women, to believe that, okay, you can just basically starve yourself, and that's what you,
And you
should
should,
be
yeah.
You should-
doing,
yeah.
to wear a dress for 1
1 night.
hour that she didn't actually achieve being able to get into it because it didn't close properly over her butt. Obviously,
because if you look at Marilyn Monroe, I was
well,
thinking
Marilyn
that,
Monroe was she was natural. That all that didn't really
well, that
exist.
she didn't have that butt.
Well, she didn't have that, like that her Kim Kardashian's body is not found in nature, so to speak, right? Like you don't. She's very manufactured. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. I'm not gonna knock her
Yeah,
for
it's not
that.
about that.
But the thing is, like, she's unrealistic. She's unachievable unless
Yeah.
you have that kind of money and you have those resources to be able to like literally design your body, and then her clothes are then designed for her body. And so when we're talking about customization, like she is fully customized. But again, that's on a different kind of resource level that 99.9% of people don't have, right?
Right.
So, I mean, just going back to the customization thing, like customize for your body because like that is your true body, not because you can be Kim Kardashian, like change it up whenever you want, because you have the like support to do that and the money to do that and like the access to do that sort of thing. So like I think one of the stigmas around customization is that it's so expensive, right? Anything like when you hear those words, you're like, oh God, like it's thousands and thousands of dollars. And so people shy away from it. But like how many pieces like do you think like someone should have? Like what, how many customized pieces that like a dress or pants, things like that you should have, so then you have those to go to all the time.
Yeah. I don't know about number of pieces. I guess it depends on the person because I think some people. I
guess
know.
it depends on what your life
Yeah.
is.
Well, are you one of
like,
those
right?
people that like if you did a Google search of that, it would be like everyone needs a little black dress.
Right. That's what I was just gonna say. There's
Yeah.
like these new what are they called? Like capsule wardrobes or whatever. Anyway, I haven't really followed it, but for me, I just have like a couple of staple dresses. I still do buy like, a couple of cheap pairs of jeans here and there and things like that, but like I think it's important like my wrap dress I'm wearing, for instance, I've had it
that you
that I
designed.
made and designed. I've had it for many years and I've worn it through my weight fluctuations and all these different things and it still fits me and it's fine and it's great
And
as
it's
a go-to.
classic.
And it's a classic and I don't know. It's just nice to have these pieces that you can go to no matter what.
Yeah,
So
and-
But are they also unaffordable? Like break
no.
down that stigma, because I think that's what people
I mean-
people shy away from it because they think it's just like going to be so
But how-
crazy expensive.
to tailor like a pair of pants is like $10, right?
Yeah, I don't do that.
Not you, but like
yeah.
I believe I used to tailor my pants. I
Yeah.
can't imagine that they were that expensive. To do
No,
that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, you can get just a regular kind of cocktail dress, like as low as like $150 for me, and it's made for you. So
And totally, like, I mean, that to me is not unreasonable because, like,
No.
I think of how many dresses are sitting in my closet that I've maybe worn once that probably each cost within like the $100 mark,
yeah,
if not more. So one dress that I fall in love with looks amazing on me, like, love it to death, versus the 5 that I'm like, well, I won't be wearing that again. Like,
yeah.
hate it.
And I used to have many of those too, and it's just such a
Many
waste.
in our lives. Imagine how many like $100 dresses or pieces have we owned, and then it's usually shit quality, like even the expensive ones,
Definitely.
which is really upsetting because then you
Well,
wash
it's
it
really
once.
hard to find quality anymore
Well,
because, like,
okay,
I look
for
at stuff and I'm like,
example-
this is expensive and it's not quality.
Like Aritzia. So you can buy something from Aritzia and spend $200 on that blouse when you can go to is Forever 21 still a thing?
Yeah.
It used to
I
be
don't
a
even
thing.
know if it's a thing anymore.
It
It
but
used to be
yeah.
a
It
thing,
is.
and
It
then
is.
so you're buying the same, and that's like a $20 blouse, and they both fall apart in the wash.
Well, and they're
in the
still
second
made
one.
in
Yeah.
like factories
Actually-
and with unfair wages and all these things.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to look into your brands too. And I'm not saying like only buy from me or only buy from like Canadian
Only
made
buy
or
from
whatever.
Chavah.
Only buy from me, but
That's the moral
but
of
like
the
look
story.
into your brands. Like
100%.
do the research and make sure there's fair wages and they're sourcing their fabrics properly and all of these things.
But
Among
even
many
aside from
things.
that is also support your local designers and like who's in your community, who's in your country, even like, I mean, totally.
And even more than that, we had Carrie on the show in a previous episode talking about why fast fashion is so detrimental. And one of the reasons is simply because of the waste. So when you are to reiterate that episode, essentially, when you purchase or support fast fashion, those collections, I guess, or seasons, I guess they're called, right?
Yeah.
It's like garments
Yeah,
of
all
the collection. Yeah.
of that collection. If they're not purchased, they're all just thrown directly in the landfill. They are not donated. They're not repurposed in any way. Like all that clothing is now garbage.
which is just
which is
contributing to
Sick.
this.
So when you support a small business
Yeah.
such as mine or other ones like mine, I don't make my inventory. I make as ordered, which is
Yeah.
like the best way to do it as far as waste goes. So I don't have
100%.
just stock I'm hanging on to that I'm going to eventually put on clearance or whatever. It's all
Or
made
throw it out.
or throw out
Oh,
and
right to the
fill. Yeah,
garbage.
exactly.
Which is such an insane thing to do.
Right.
Like,
It's like
why
in
do we do
restaurants,
that
how
with
they-
absolutely anything ever? Like, there is so many ways to repurpose literally everything.
But of course they can't, because if they were to just give it away, everyone just would wait for that.
True.
So that it makes no sense, and they want to stay on top of the trend, so they just keep repurpose instead of spring, fall, summer, winter. It's like 20
Each
seasons.
season.
That's what I mean by season. And nobody fucking can keep up with that, obviously.
No.
Like, who's going shopping every week? Unless you're rich, but then you're probably not going to like the Zaras or the Forever 21s. So
Like it's just the whole like formula of this
just
fast fashion
waste.
business seems very like not well thought out.
No, well, it is for
But it's not really because
for
it's-
money.
It's I don't know.
the guys on top are making.
Yeah.
all the
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
Of course, they're
Yeah.
producing. Stores are buying.
And they're knocking off
And-
small designers. Like there's so many
Yeah.
things like on Shein, for instance, where I've seen like designers be like, I just put this like super unique piece out and then there it is on Shein. Like they have people ready to, it's just crazy.
That like breaks my heart because like why? Like why can't we just I don't know. I feel like if
It's
people
capitalization as per every industry.
No, I know, but I feel like if we put more effort into promoting our local designers, then we wouldn't have to have these kind of like fast fashion companies because if you're producing that kind of a piece and if more people were buying it from you, then that means your prices could go down, maybe match those like super fast fashion prices or somewhere close. But like you're also probably using fabrics that are way better quality. Like everything you buy from all those stores and those brands and those companies are pretty much polyester.
Yeah.
And I hate polyester. Like
You cannot breathe.
no, there's nothing good about it. Like it is cheap and that's what it is. That's why it's affordable because it's cheap to get, it's cheap to make, it's cheap to produce, and it's cheap. It's just cheap.
Cheap. So what are some Canadian as well, but it doesn't have to be Canadian, but what are some brands that you love that, support kind of the things that you go believe in?
So there's quite a few on the East Coast as well. There's another designer called Adrienne Goodine, and she is out of New Brunswick as well. There's a couple in Nova Scotia that I also do Atlantic Fashion Week with. There's Michelle Rober and Art Pays Me is another one, and they do like kind of streetwear. Anyway, there's lots to choose from, and like no matter what your community is, it feels like there is a designer of some sort there. You
So
have to
everyone
search
can
them
just find
out.
them.
Yeah.
I love that. Keeps
Yeah.
it local too, right?
Yeah.
Definitely invest in your own city, in your own country, in your own just like back door kind of thing, right? Like backyard.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Not
Yeah.
back door.
In your back door?
Invest in my back door.
Take that how you'd like, anyone.
So Chavah, who were some of your influencers? Like who did you look to and help shape you and like really make you decide that you wanted to be a fashion designer?
Or currently now.
Yeah, then and now.
I don't know. I just like I don't know if it's one in particular. I just like always love looking in fashion magazines when I was a kid and looking through fashion. I don't
Just
know.
as a
Yeah, like
whole.
as a whole. Like I don't know if there's one in particular. Honestly, just I love fashion.
Yeah,
in
not to put you on the
general.
spot.
I know it really did too.
Like I need a fucking
Like,
answer. What am I gonna say?
like, give me my phone.
Yeah. I know. And the worst part is that later tonight you're like, oh my God, I love this
was the
person. That was a
answer.
huge pivotal moment.
Well, I mean, like you could call on the giant fashion houses like Chanel and Versace.
Right, and that's an easy answer, but I don't know if you guys knew that I did the cashmere show, the like where you make a dress out of toilet paper.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was invited to be part of that in 2019.
Oh my God,
Only
those are so
14
cool.
designers as part of 14 designers across Canada were invited that year. So I was one of them, and you had to draw inspiration from an iconic designer. So that's what kind of brings me to that. So I chose Vivienne Westwood, and she did they used a lot of her designs on Sex and the City.
As the second you said Vivienne Westwood, I thought of Carrie's dress.
Of course,
obviously.
yes. So for my inspiration, I drew inspiration from
that dress?
From that dress.
Oh
so
my
I made
God.
a toilet paper gown that is like my version, or not version, because it wasn't like a replica or anything, but like my interpretation of that style. So you'll have to look it up on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Definitely, we will.
That one kind of went viral on my Facebook, like as a reel. People, oh my gosh, the comments were hilarious because it was like during COVID that I posted it, and everyone's like, "This is where all the toilet paper
Yeah.
went."
I was just gonna say
Oh
when
my
everyone's
God.
panicking over getting
Exactly,
there
yeah.
are
about that.
65 packages of toilet paper
But where
because
did
that's
they
what's
store
gonna save
this?
you from
Are they
COVID.
just like making toilet paper couches and beds?
And they're like, "You're making a dress," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Oh,
obviously."
so wasteful.
oh my God. So where's that dress? What happened to that dress?
So Cashmere like basically like commissioned me to make it, so that's their dress now. So
I wonder if
Do they
still
have like a
it.
museum
I
of
don't
all
know.
these
Well,
dresses?
they
They've been doing
redisplay
this
them
for
each year.
years.
Yeah, they like bring some of them out to like display during the shows.
Could
So.
somebody wear it or was it on a mannequin?
No, they had to wear it down. It
Yeah, they
had to
have
make it
models.
down the runway. Yeah,
I don't know about
so it
this.
had to be. I think it was like 90%. You really don't know about it?
I've seen so
There's, like,
many. I just didn't know
commercials.
Chavah was in it.
There's
Yeah.
the commercials and everything. So it had to like visibly from the outside. I think it was 90% toilet paper, and then the inside could have more like a
like
structure.
a bra or something.
Yeah, so mine was like a two-piece that had a corset and then a big like tuft skirt, kind of like the
Vivienne
wedding
Westwood
dress.
dress, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have to look it up, but it was crazy. Like I remade that thing so
Oh
many
my
times 'cause it
God.
kept like catching on my needle and just ripping.
Well,
I
It
guess
is
toilet
toilet
paper is
paper.
the
Yes,
worst material to work
insane.
with.
Yeah. So I had to ship it away to them. I think it was like 3 months before the show, and then just be like, "Good luck. I hope
Hopefully
it works
it
out."
Arrived.
Some people.
How did you ship that?
They sent me this giant box. It was
Like
huge.
Wow.
was it on a mannequin or like
No, like on a
hanging?
hanger, and then I like bagged it up just because like weather, you don't want it to
Yeah.
like soak.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it's toilet paper.
It's
It
scary.
can't get wet
And originally, like
at
I had
all.
pockets in it, but I was like, what if her hands sweat?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got rid of those pockets quick. A couple
Oh
of
my.
designers had to remake their dresses because like during the photo shoots they ripped. Thankfully mine wasn't one of them that ripped. So yeah, and then
Wow.
I just like arrived for the fashion show and like hope to God they came out like in one piece.
Was that like the hardest piece you ever
It was
made?
crazy, yeah, because I normally during fashion shows, like tomorrow, for instance, I'm just like crazy. I'm like making sure everything's right last minute. For the toilet paper show, I just arrived and like they took care of it.
Yeah,
So
because you had to just mail it in and hope for the best.
exactly, yeah, it
Oh
was
my
crazy.
God. What other crazy or like have you ever had a piece that was commissioned and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this piece? Like, does that ever happen to you?
Sometimes brides can get a little crazy, and not so much the brides, but like a lot of the times the moms are a little like nuts. Like
Yeah.
they'll come with them and be like, I don't know, just extra finicky, but nothing as wild as toilet paper, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever stopped like making something like anytime I've built something like there, I feel like I always get like I like to refinish furniture. So I feel like there's always a point that I get to where I'm like, okay, I don't do this. I suck at this. I don't want to fucking finish. Does that happen to you ever?
Only when I make stuff for myself.
Oh,
Yeah, it sucks because I'm like, I don't know. People, the first thing they always say is like, "Oh, you must always wear your own clothes." I'm like, "Well, in an ideal world, I would, but I usually don't have time for making stuff for myself." So for this show, for instance, my outfit I made, but I made it like the day before the show. So it
Wow.
gets so
'cause you put
frustrating,
yourself
and
to
it's
the back
yeah,
burner.
exactly. Like, and it's just like go 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 at the last minute. So when I quit, it's on my own stuff.
Aw.
Aw. You
Fun.
I
shouldn't.
know, but you know,
Well, I mean,
I
like
know.
that's just
Easier
like
said than
women,
done.
right? We
Yeah,
always put
we
exactly.
ourselves
always
last.
Yeah.
do.
Like that's
Yeah.
especially if you're a mom too. Like that's just you just become last. Like it just is what it is. And we need to stop that. You're right. Like we need to not
100%.
to do
Yeah.
that. But
You deserve a nice piece.
I do. Thank you.
well,
Someday.
we're very excited to see everything. You and your
All
new
your stuff.
collection.
Yes, I'm excited
But
to have
I
you.
wanted to ask you though, like about being a Canadian fashion designer because obviously like Canada's up and coming still. I feel like we've been up
I
and coming for a
know.
long
I
time.
Yeah.
know.
But like how is this market? Like how do you feel like
You wish
it's
you were American.
yeah, do you or
Honestly,
Italian or Parisian,
um,
anything but Canadian?
it's not bad. Like people ask me this a lot, but with all the venues I have for my sales, like I have Etsy still. That was where I started, and I still keep the Etsy going, and I have my regular website. So many of my sales still go to the States, even though I'm
Nice.
Canadian, which is really awesome. Especially through the pandemic, there was no events happening here in Canada, but
Right.
so many
Yeah.
gauns still going to the States. So
Oh,
it's
that's
Are
great.
you
good.
jealous?
Yeah, yeah. Like
Damn you
you guys
Americans.
still have cocktail galas and stuff. Like,
Jealous.
Like a thing of our distant memory.
yeah.
Slowly
Aw.
coming back, slowly coming back.
Yeah.
So if somebody like do you have people that want you to be their mentor, like, younger women coming into the industry or men that want to break into the Canadian fashion world, like what would you tell them or what do you tell them?
Yeah, I've had quite a few people work or reach out to me. My college does like a mentoring thing where they send a student. Unfortunately, during COVID, we couldn't do it, but yeah, just like reaching out, even with questions like, "How did you do this?" And it's cool that they're looking up to me in that because I still see myself as like trying to figure it out.
Like a fledgling designer.
Yeah, like
You're not.
No,
You're
you're
going
I
to
just
Toronto
definitely not.
Fashion Week
well,
tomorrow.
right. But I feel like no matter what, like along the way, I don't know, maybe as women and as entrepreneurs, we're always questioning ourselves and like, have I made it? Like, I'm always reaching for the next goal. So to me, like, I'm not there yet because I keep pushing. I don't know. That's a bad answer, but
No, it's not. I think
It's
it's
a
yeah,
very
real
common for
answer.
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that you're crazy and you're amazing and you're right where you should be because of
thank
your hard
you.
work.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels good to be here. And I'm sure I just like my brain won't catch up with it all until I'm home, and then I'm like, that just happened.
What just happened? No, what
Yeah,
happened? Like I'm sure
exactly.
it'll fly. I'm sure it has been
It
flying
has
by.
been. I've been getting like no rest at all. It's been go 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 since I've been here, so it's been really exciting the amount of people that have wanted to work with me, like especially you guys. So it feels good.
Yeah. Aw.
So you think there is like space for people to continue trying to enter the Canadian fashion market then? Like, because I feel like Canada is such a funny place
It's
to
weird. Like
be.
we're a full country, but it does feel like behind.
Yeah, like we
or
just don't like.
something.
I mean, I feel like we're always in the U.S.'s shadow, right?
Yeah.
But then at the same
But
time, we're
why?
not. Like we're
We have
just
big cities. Like, what is
yeah.
it?
We produce
We still wear
incredible
clothes
talent
sometimes.
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 Most of us.
Yeah.
But
I
no,
am
we
now.
reproduce incredible talent like TIFF, like
Yeah.
all the different kind of like events that do take place in Canada and then Toronto, Vancouver, like are the big hubs. But I just still think like fashion is sort of this untapped industry still. Like I know there's
In
tons,
Right.
but
in Canada.
yeah, in Canada.
No,
Do
I
you
think
agree?
there's all kinds of room for it. That's one of the first questions people ask me is like, weren't you worried like going into this as a business? Like you're a Canadian designer, and I'm like, I never thought about it. Like I never questioned it. I just did it. And so I've told all kinds of like fashion students that have reached out to me like, just go for it. Like no matter what you make, there's going to be a need for it. Like find your niche, make it work. Um, don't do everything because in the beginning I was like, yeah, I'll take that project on. I'll take that project on. I'll sew your
Like different
pants.
styles. Oh.
Yeah, like do everything and don't do that. Like find what you love to do and what you're passionate about, and then people will recognize the passion and want what you have to offer.
I love that. I love that. And I like that you said like don't like you kind of just went into it like blindly like this is because of your passion.
Yeah,
This is what I want to do, and I like that you're telling people to do that because I do really truly believe like passion is that, spice on top that really gets people further than
it does.
people that are just, trudging along, and even if they put in the hard work, having that passion gives you that like that drive in those dark moments, I think when it's like I can't. I speak from my experience. Like I can't do this, but I like it. Like I'm passionate about it. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that carries you sometimes.
Yeah, that's the conduit to like the next step, right? Like taking yourself that much further if you
It's
have
like a
that
blind ambition
true
because of
deep
that.
passion. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
totally agree. And I think that's what maybe my parents saw in me and why they were so like, okay, we'll take you to this fashion school to figure it out
I love
because
that.
I just wanted it so bad, I guess. And I didn't question how I would do it. And I still am. I still don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm still going to just keep going. And
Doing what you're doing.
yeah, I had a business consultant a few years ago who was like, you say yes and then you figure it out after. And
Yeah,
that's just
I love
like,
that.
I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, because I think that if people say somebody's asking you to do something, even today you said you're a little bit nervous to come on, but you said yes.
Yes.
And how here you are just doing it, plugging along, and I'm sure you're not nervous now.
No, it's fine.
Especially
It's so
after we
easy
got
to talk with
drunk
you
at
guys.
dinner.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
That helps.
The
That's the
margaritas
thing.
helped.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
loosened you up first.
Yes, of
Like,
course.
give you a little liquid
But
courage.
then you just I'm the same way with things. Like you say yes in the moment, then it's like the anxiety and like, oh my God, how the hell am I gonna do it? But then you just fucking do it.
Yeah, but we do
Right.
that to ourselves all the time. We like put the like reasons why we would fail first instead of the reasons why we would succeed. Like, I don't know why we do this. I mean, how many psychologists and like therapists and counselors and like coaches we've had on the show, and yet we're still like, why do we do this to ourselves? Like,
Yeah.
why
Exactly.
can't we not
Nobody's
see
ever
the
explained
positive
that part.
first? And so we're just like, so
But I think we do. That's why we say yes
yeah.
first.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, no, like of course we do meet people like you that are just like, no, I'm just doing it and I'll figure it out. And I think that's great. And like even with the podcast, we kind of did that. We're like, we have no idea
We
how
have
to do a
never done
podcast.
anything.
But here you are with your video recording right now. So look at
Yeah.
you.
Shout out producer James,
AKA Jeff. Mhm.
Jeff and Jen in the house.
An inside joke,
Yeah,
guys.
inside joke. We're not going to
We had
explain
to
it.
be here.
I know you had to be here. It's really nothing more to say than that.
But no, you are an inspiration. And I mean, it was inspiring just when we discovered your account and like who you are and like the beautiful pieces that you make. And as a show, and part of the thing that we want to do and we aspire to do is like bring more awareness to amazing women, of course, first and foremost, Canadian women. And then also just like people, you need to know there is amazing fashion designers, and not just fashion designers, but we're talking about fashion on the show but today, but it's like you have these artists, these creators, these incredible people in your back door.
What is the back door?
I just had to do it. In your backyard.
Oh, I'm like, is it door? What is door? I'm thinking ass, right? Is that what you guys are thinking of?
No,
In
I
the back
wasn't.
door, right?
No, in your backyard, in your community, and it's like seek them out. Like go and find these
Because
people.
those are the ones. So I think the fashion industry can have a bad rap when it comes to things like the fast fashion. And I know that people kind of look down on the fashion industry, and like it could be superficial, especially when you have like those brands with the fast fashion. So when you have brands like you who are like wholesomely making good pieces, and in a healthy way for our world and everything like that, it kind of you're taking away that like negative connotation that fashion can have. And it
Yes.
is, and I think there is, I understand why people would kind of like look down on fashion when it comes to things like, oh, it's just, for money. But there is so much more. Do you guys remember the scene in The Devil Wears Prada where Miranda Priestley like really tore her apart for her periwinkle sweater? And I think that like really sums it up so well, that fashion like infiltrates so many parts of life. And that, so when you have a designer like you who is doing so amazing, and I mean, we love our Canadian women, obviously. It just is, it's a fucking amazing. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Well,
And
it's an extension of who you are, right? Like we wear certain clothes, most of us.
When you look good, you feel good.
Well, there's
And
that,
that's
but also like who you are, like I want you to see me as this person. So like what I'm wearing, and obviously a million times over we've mentioned this, but like COVID has changed so much of that.
Yeah,
But like
so much.
before COVID, for me specifically too, it's like I wear things because this is who I am. Like when I wear something, it's like I want you to get my personality. I want you to like get me. Not when I'm wearing my tracksuits or my leggings, but like when I'm going out and putting like purposefully putting myself in the world, like I want you to read something
Yeah.
about me through my fashion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first it's your first impression.
Yeah.
out
So
for
important.
people. That
Right.
is so important.
And that's what feels so good, having clients come to me, and maybe even it's like a mom that's coming with her daughter and she tries something on too, and then all of a sudden she just lights up when she tries it on, and it just feels so good to like bring out that like happiness, because sometimes like moms, as we know, take the back burner, and when you try something on and you're like, oh yeah, like I can feel good too, like
Sexy, what's that?
yes, exactly. Girls that
there's
try
no
on a
need
dress
to
with
forget.
a slit, oh my gosh, the
Yeah,
way they light
I
up.
love a slit. Oh my
Yes.
god.
A good slit, yeah.
And I love when we
giving
met you in the
Angelina Jolie and Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's just like the sexiest.
giving me your hotel lobby vibes when we saw your model with
Oh,
the
Oh
slit.
my god,
And
yeah.
you're so cute. You're like, look at the slit. I'm like, oh, I love how she loves her piece. Like, to me, that's the passion. Like, and I love the fucking slit. It looks so good.
yeah, and the way people light up when they try it on, it just like
A slit is so fun. It's like a whooshy dress. Like, it's an interactive
I wish I could
piece.
show you guys like the models, even the reaction. They have their dress on, they just got it on, and I'm like, oh, and it has
They
a
feel
slit,
it?
and they go, oh, a slit,
Like
and the other
leg.
leg immediately comes out, and I'm like, yes.
I
And then
love that.
girl.
she's like, I'm gonna work that on the runway, and I'm like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, that's why you're
It's like
there.
a slit in pockets. It
I
just
was
does
just
something to
saying
us. What
pockets.
is wrong with us? Like
Pockets
why?
are the other thing.
But it is amazing. It is amazing to like put something on and just like it takes over your body. Like you could go in feeling like complete shit and you get a piece that just like changes your whole view of yourself, of your day, everything about you, and it just like lifts you up to the point that you're like, I'm ready to
You're
take on the
carrying
entire
yourself
world. Like
so
I'm
much
just
better.
yeah, you do. It totally changes like your physical stance, like your face. Like I do feel like some people literally look different
Yeah.
when they feel good
It's
in their
performance.
clothes.
It's everything.
Yeah.
So I know we're wrapping up in a minute, but I just want to ask you: are any of your kids going into fashion? Do you think? Because your grandma, and then your mom, kind of unwillingly. but
Yeah.
then you
Reluctantly.
I made her. My middle daughter loves fashion. One of my last fashion shows a few years ago, I sometimes show at my college where I took fashion design. I'll show a collection. When I showed there last time, I got her to walk the runway with me at the end, and she
Aw.
loved it.
That's
So
amazing.
she really loves fashion. So maybe her.
Would you like pass the business on?
Oh,
Kind of thing?
definitely. Like she sits and she'll sew with me sometimes just to like, because I need to spend time with them, but I have work to do. So I'll just like, okay, you can sew
Sewing is
this.
fun.
And
That's like a
kids.
good skill to have in life.
It
I
though.
cannot
is.
sew for the life of me. I try.
they don't
to
really
repair
teach it
things.
anymore. So
No.
I think it's really
It's
important.
hard.
I mean,
It's
that's a
hard.
whole other episode talking about the fundamentals of life that we do not
Yeah.
get
Right.
taught
We talk
anymore.
about that on every episode.
Yeah,
Because we
like,
realize all the things
we're
we
just
don't know.
failures.
Every person we talk to, we're like, we should know this stuff. No, we don't. But
Teach me
there's another one.
accounting.
Oh yeah. Taxes have been brought up a lot on our show.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like the regular things that we should know that we don't. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of cool. It could be like a legacy family thing.
Yeah, possibly. I
Which
mean, I
I'm-
won't push her into it. It's something you need to be passionate
But I mean,
about,
there's so many elements of fashion that she could get into. It doesn't mean she's necessarily going to be a designer, but maybe she'll the model or she
Yeah.
will be the business side of things. Like,
And now that she's like a preteen now, I use her as a fit model sometimes.
oh yeah, 'cause she's probably perfectly tiny.
Aw.
That works well, and she gets excited about seeing my pieces. So
Yeah, but that's
But-
such a beautiful bonding thing too, as a mother-daughter thing, right? Like
now
you
that she
just
doesn't
get
make me,
to-
she doesn't let me make her anything anymore because she's a preteen. Like I used to make her Christmas dress, and now she's like, Mom, I don't think so.
She wants to buy it.
Yeah,
Aw.
Oh, but that's so funny
Yeah.
though, like how we change, right? Like
so
Maybe
weird.
the next thing you make for her might be like her prom dress or something cool like
I
that.
know, yeah, a bonding thing like that. That would be
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh my
And
God,
it's a
I would-
special thing.
love if I had like I mean my mom can sew, but she's not a fashion designer. But like to be able to create a prom dress, something like that, like
And
even
it's
my
so
wedding dress.
custom with when it's your mom because you can be like every little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like
She
F
has
that,
more-
Mom, that's ugly.
Yeah.
Start
Like,
again.
Yeah.
shorter,
She does not have to hide
tighter.
anything.
And
and
the
you're
mom's like,
"What,
nope."
higher.
Like
No.
let's make it a turtleneck.
Turtleneck. Oh my gosh. At my wedding, my dad pulled out turtlenecks for everybody because he was like, it's always been his joke. He's like, you're showing too much.
Yeah.
And-
My husband says that too. Like I'll
That's
go out and
so
he's like, "Are you gonna put a turtleneck on with that?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "What about a dickie?"
A dickie.
Like what?
Those things are. My grandpa used to wear them and buy them for us all the time. A
Like,
dickie.
Talking about fashion, how did
How is
that
a dickie
make?
a thing?
Yeah.
Do you
What is
know?
the dickie?
Oh,
Oh my
God! Of course she
God.
doesn't know because she
I'm like,
actually knows
haha,
fashion.
I really
the
don't
most
know.
ridiculous thing in the world.
It's
It's
literally
literally
a
a
turtle-
turtleneck and then a piece of fabric.
Okay,
here
that's
and
what
then
my
the
dad
back.
got. It wasn't actual turtlenecks. He brought out like these
Dickies.
dickies. Yeah. And he gave me a lacy one. It was
Oh my
like,
god!
how does this even
he was
exist
trying
in
to
the
be
world?
like in the same realm of wedding look. I
It was
guess.
hilarious.
Well, I
though.
thought they were only meant for like thermal wear, but
Apparently there's
But a
pretty.
dickie seems like the most
a pretty
ridiculous thing.
dickie.
You got a
lace
pretty
dick-
dickie.
I got a pretty dickie.
Your dad is fashion forward as well.
I don't know.
He's like, listen,
That is
Chavah,
amazing.
let me introduce you to
You
the
wanna do
pretty
fashion?
I'm about to up this fashion game for you, okay?
I love that.
A new niche.
I hate dickies. That's like the grossest thing. Oh my god.
and the name.
What a bad name for
I'm
it.
so glad you as a fashion designer did not even know what they were, but then unfortunately you
You
did.
kinda
did.
Indirectly, you knew.
In fact, you own one.
Yes.
And wore it on your wedding
And
day.
for it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
hilarious.
Well, I mean, how better to close out the show on that? On
Dickie.
the Dickie
Dickies.
note.
Just say Dickie and
yeah.
we're over.
But Chavah, please tell our listeners where they can find you because they need to.
Yeah, you can find me at chavahlindsay.com and at chavahlindsay on Instagram. I'm going to spell it.
Yes, do.
CHAVAH. Yeah.
No.
CHAVAHLINDSAY.com or, Instagram and stuff.
Amazing. And also, it is Chavah Lindsay, not Lindsay Chavah.
That's right.
I originally made that mistake.
It happens a lot.
Embarrassingly say
Or-
that.
I'm surprised you got confused as it's spelled out Chavah Lindsay.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
but,
it
like,
happens so often though. Like really.
She knows. Okay.
And they're like, the people will come in and I have my big logo on my wall in my studio, and they'll
Like,
be
"Hi,
like, "So how
Lindsay."
come you decided to put your first name last?" And I'm like, "I didn't."
You're like, oh, thank God you told me because I didn't actually know my own name. So thank you for that
Like,
insight.
should I just switch it? Would that be
Oh,
better
okay,
for
yeah.
you?
Duh. Anyway, and as always, everyone can follow us at HERspective_podcast and, hit us up with those likes, DMs, and rate and review on all the places. But Chavah, thank you so much for being on the show. This was amazing. And we cannot wait to see your show tomorrow when this airs. We will have seen it, but obviously we haven't seen it yet. So excited.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, babe, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank
We're so
you.
excited.
Break a leg, as they say, right?
Oh
think
yeah,
so.
sorry. Good luck is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
How dare
Break
you.
those
Scratch
legs.
that.
You
Break
cursed your
all
show.
those legs.
Break the legs.
Break all the legs.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.